Yo, 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 what's up? What's up? Coming to you live from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, aka Titletown, USA, home of the world champion Villanova Wildcats and the first time and reigning defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. Still feels good saying that almost 2 months later. Well, officially 2 months later, still feels good. Ah, we are what we you are now tuned in to one of the best sports podcasts on the internet, the Crossover Sports Podcast, episode 80. 80 episodes into this thing. I'm rocking out with my boy Dr. Dre, Dr. Dre Terry. So go ahead and reintroduce yourself, Dre.
What up, what up? It's Andre Terry here. Like my man Colin said, Titletown, baby. And if you haven't been to the link, I suggest you go down right now. You can see the two beautiful banners that say we are world champs. You can even see the statue from the Super Bowl, which was Super Bowl 51, baby. Well, not 51. What is it, Colin? What's it, 52? Something like that. But y'all know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, it is a beautiful atmosphere here in Philly. Teams just keep on winning, whether it be the Philadelphia Soul. We still need to give them credit because they started out to win it before anybody else did. And we got to give credit to Villanova for doing their thing. So we just here to talk. I'm here to talk more and more about the sports world. Let's go.
All right, y'all. Thank you all. We want to thank you all who have been rocking out with us since the beginning. 80 episodes in. Big accomplishment. We want to thank y'all always. Comment, and like, and subscribe to the channel. But also share because a lot of you, I feel like this is a great show. It's not just because I'm a part of it. I just feel like we give people stuff that they don't see. So share it with your friends, with your sports minded friends, with your non-sports minded friends. I feel like we educate people well enough. But as we always start this podcast, we start with our crossover hot takes. This is where we lean in, dive in, go in to the different breaking news topics of the day. Doesn't necessarily have to be about sports. Could be about some cultural stuff, some political stuff, some entertainment stuff. Actually, we're gonna have a cultural take, but our first, but most of these have to do with sports. But I'm ready to we ready to go in. All right. So for those of you that have lived under a rock, I know this is one episode in, and I'm doing this again because a fan of the show hit us up and said that it was a great show and all, but they would like to for those of you that are here for one particular sport, want to enlighten y'all on something else as well. So we're gonna start with our 76ers. For those of you that are living under the rock for the first time in 6 years, no, 8 years, 2010. No, yeah, the 76ers are in the playoffs. The process is almost complete. They're in the playoffs. The NBA playoffs are going on right now. They're about to be in their second week. So, yeah. So, Andre, are the 76ers the best team in the East?
Absolutely no. And I love the Sixers. I'm a diehard Sixers fan. But they haven't produced to the level of the New Orleans Pelicans, who are 3-0 in their series, or Golden State Warriors, who are 3-0 in their series. What I will say is they're the second best team in the East, but they're still a young team. They're still inexperienced when it comes to the playoffs as a team. Like, I know Marco Bellinelli has been deep into the playoffs and he's won a championship. I know JJ Redick has been the playoffs, but as a team, as a unit, like your key players, the best players in your team, Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, Markel Fultz, those guys have not been in the playoffs and deep into the playoffs and produce the numbers that the star players have. So they've done pretty well for themselves. But you got to look at their opponent. Like, they're playing a depleted Miami Heat team. Like, would you really consider them the best team, even if they were um like crushing them? That team is not good. Hassan Whiteside has not been the player we've come to know and love he's not been dominant. He's been crying about minutes, and he's barely been seen. Dwayne Wade is like on his last leg of his career. We all know he's real close to retirement. If this is not his last year, next year is his last year. But yeah, the Sixers are not the best team in the East. I would still have to say Toronto's the best team in the East. They got a better record. They play better through the season. They playing better through the playoffs, if you ask me. But even Boston's playing good without Kyrie. Now they're not gonna go that far without Kyrie, and I hope they know that. Like they may get past this round, but they're not. I don't believe Boston's gonna get past the next round. I do believe the Sixers are going to win this series, which is not really that hard to do. Depending on, showing that the talent that the Miami Heat have. I believe Cleveland will even beat the Pacers. They're having a tough time because, the role players aren't showing up like LeBron is showing up. And then, if LeBron has a bad game, so the team loses. But even still, they only lose by like 2. That's pretty impressive, man. So the Sixers are not the best team in the East.
Oh God, he's starting already. We already starting on a disagreement. Listen, the Sixers are the best defensive team in the Eastern Conference. They have, even without Joel Embiid, they're the best defensive team. They cause the most turnovers. They also lead the league in turnovers. Go figure. And they have the second best player in the East. Outside of that, matter of fact, they have 2 of the top 3 players in the East. Let me just say that: Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, right? And they have the best duo in the East. Yes, I'd say even better than DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry. Why? Simple. This team won 17 straight games, had the best record in the Eastern Conference for the past 2 months. That was without Joel Embiid. They were the best defensive team without Joel Embiid for 2 months. And up until 2 days ago, they were dominating the Heat. They even dominated the Heat, but it wound up. But like I said, turnovers cost them in Game 2. Toronto just lost. They lost to the Wizards. It's hard to beat the Wizards in DC for some reason. But right now, to me, the 76ers are the best and most dominant team, and this is unbiasedly the best and most dominant team in the East because, as I said, with Joel Embiid back, this team is allowed to be a lot more aggressive than they are, and you saw that in the previous game. Joel Embiid came back, Miami, with Joel Embiid in there, the Sixers are allowed to turn every team they play into a jump shooting team. And there's not a lot of good jump shooting teams in the East. Let's be honest. And when they closed off the paint, when Miami wasn't allowed to attack the paint, when Goran Dragic and Dwayne Wade weren't allowed to attack the paint because Joel Embiid was in there blocking shots, right? The 76ers were able to cause turnovers. Actually, the Heat shot better when Joel Embiid went to the bench. They were 5 for 10. They were shooting 50% from the paint when he was not in there. When he was in there, that went down to like a 20 or 30%. So Joel Embiid is the best defensive player in the East. I don't think anybody would argue that one. And you have all of that to say, listen, the 76ers were having a great 2 months before they went into the playoffs. And Andre, though, the playoffs are all about momentum. It's all about getting healthy at the right time. And I dare to say the Sixers right now, if you're looking at everybody in the East, the Sixers are the most healthiest team in the East. They're the most dominant team in the East, not even just based off of this playoffs, but what they've been doing before that. Nobody can really argue that. The 76ers are the best team in the East. And you might say that Toronto's playing better basketball, but Toronto just lost last night. The Celtics just lost last night. So did the Cavaliers. Right now, the Sixers are the best and most balanced team in the East from top to bottom. They'd be a more balanced team in the East than the Sixers. The Sixers have a deep bench. Andre knows it's been a while since we've been able to say that the Sixers actually have a bench. They have two of the top stars. Even Ben Simmons plays different. Like Ben Simmons, the first two games you could tell he was doing a little too much. Sure they won, but they won one and lost one, but he was doing a little too much without Joel Embiid. Now with Joel Embiid in the game, he can do what he needs to do. The shooters play better. JJ Redick plays better. Everybody finds their role when Joel Embiid is in there. Plus, if it wasn't for Joel Embiid hitting those two clutch 3-point shots, that fadeaway turnaround shot he hit, the Sixers would be down by a game. Go ahead, Andre. Dre, you there?
What did you say?
I said you can respond to what I just said if you want.
Are you didn't ask?
No, I didn't ask anything. I'm just saying you can respond to what I just said if you want.
Oh, okay. I mean, listen. I think you got some valid points, but I still disagree. I don't think they are the best team in the East. Like, yes, they had a great run at the end of the season, but time will tell, and will show what the Sixers really are. Like you can't lose at home and tell me you're the best team in the East. Like if you lose on the road, all right, fine. But they should have lost that game at home. They shouldn't have. You could argue that all you want to, but I think you're wrong if you say they should have lost that game. There's no way in the world. Like the Miami Heat aren't that great.
All right. Well, listen. I'll just say this: every team loses at home. The Cavaliers lost at home. Then they lost.
No. You can't do that.
Yes, I can.
Brian playing by himself in a bunch of role. Well, not just a bunch of role plays because Kevin Love is not stepping up. I don't know what's up with Kevin Love and where he went to, but he's not earning his money. Period.
Listen. Everybody. Listen. There's been a couple of teams losing at home. It's not just the Sixers. The Cavs lost at home. I mean, it took the Sixers a second game to lose at home. But everybody loses at home eventually. It doesn't.
You're talking about the Sixers. You're talking about like the Golden State or like they like the Pelicans. They're not on the same level. Those teams are undefeated in the playoffs right now.
Well, listen. We just talk about the East. We're not talking about the whole NBA. We'll find that out. Whoever they play in the finals.
What are you comparing it to? You comparing it to the subpar team they're playing? What team would you say is the weakest in the East right now?
The weakest team in the East right now, for real, is really a tie between the Cavs and the Celtics because both of those teams. Listen, you play to your competition, man. You're
telling me that Miami's better than the Celtics right now?
No, I'm saying you say who are the two weakest teams?
That's what I'm saying. Miami is the weakest team in the playoffs right now. The weakest team on the East side.
That's the big.
That's telling me that you believe it, but you don't want to admit to it.
No, listen. The Cavaliers and the Celtics are better than the Heat. But if you're telling me right now who the weakest team is based on roster, like you said, like you just based on roster, and we're not just going by what's on paper, the Celtics are the worst team because they don't have Kyrie or Gordon Hayward. I mean, for real, I'm not just going
the team because their star players is hurt.
No, I'm not discrediting.
A healthy Miami Heat team is still not better than a healthy Celtics team. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay. Well, listen, I'm saying this. Listen, right now, just based on who's playing right now, the Celtics are weak right now. I don't think anybody will say the Celtics are a strong team without Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward.
Are they going to win the series? Is the Celtics going to win the series?
We know this. Listen, the Celtics should win the series.
No, are they going to? You tell me yes or no. I don't want should they, maybe, could have. Tell me yes.
As I said last week, the Celtics should win in about 5.
No, I want a yes or no, Colin.
The Celtics should win.
Are they going to win?
Yeah, they're going to win.
Thank you. That's all I want.
All right. And the Pacers are going to beat the Cavaliers. I said that last week.
No, I don't think the Cavaliers. I disagree with you on that. I feel like LeBron's gonna throw everything in. He
Listen,
doesn't want to go down,
we
get
gonna
kicked
get
out.
the. We gonna,
Listen,
we gonna,
you know what kind of disrespect you get when you get kicked down the first round of the playoffs and you the best player in the NBA. He'll
listen,
never get into that to the end of even when his career is done. They'll still be talking about that.
listen. You even said this is a weak Cavaliers team.
It is.
They
But
had
LeBron is still LeBron.
this man went and almost and dang near scored 50 and still only beat the Pacers by 2 points.
It happens like that when your teammates don't show up.
Listen. I agree with you, but that's why I said if you're telling me, like from what I've seen, it's been a whole team versus one guy, and as when it's a whole team versus one guy, LeBron loses those types of series. Now they got a whole. I think that series is going 7 games. The
Thank
way
you.
that
I do too. I totally
the
agree.
way that series is going 7 games. We'll see. But moving right along to our next question. We'll be on this all day. Moving right along to our next question. All right, Andre. Should Carson Wentz? Okay. Those that have been living under a rock, the Eagles started their OTAs. They interviewed Carson Wentz, and they asked them based on his injury or his multiple injuries because it was he broke his knee in more than one place. Would he change his playing style? Carson Wentz said basically, nah, he ain't changing nothing. So the question is, Dre, should he change his playing style? Go right ahead.
I I'm like Doug Peterson on this. And I believe what I'm going to say is what he would say, and he has said this in press interviews. No, he should change his playing style. What he should do is be smart about the plays he's going to take and the times he holds the ball. And because listen, being a quarterback in the National Football League, you have to understand that defenses aren't going to allow you to hold on to the ball forever. So you probably got a good 3 second to 5 second window of getting that ball out before those D backs get back there, or if it's a blitz, the safety gets down, um, that middle linebacker comes down. It all depends. How the play is developing. If somebody fell in the play, if somebody got away, they just they burnt their man, or it's something happened. So he has to really evaluate each play. Take a case by case scenario and see, is it a good risk? Because it's always a risk. Some plays more obvious than others, and like I don't know, a DN fell down, so you got time. That guy's not pressing you on that side, so you got time to do whatever you want. But when when everything is on point and everybody's sharp, yeah, you got to get rid of that ball. Sometimes you got to live the play another down. Sometimes you got to slide before the man even gets there, get out of bounds. Just don't take unnecessary hits. You can't afford to take unnecessary hits, especially when you got a track record of being hurt and not finishing the season. So you don't ever want to have that tag on you that I'm a quarterback that can't finish the season because I just take unnecessary risks. Like I get away with some of them, but then sometimes I always it's going to happen. It's a game of numbers. If you run so many times, you're bound to get hit. If you run so many times, you're bound to get injured. If you run so many times, it's just not going to be a good outcome. It's simple. It's really that simple. He has to be really smart about the decisions he makes. So he has to study more game film, study his opponents more. Whether it be the safety, study the whole team. Study which away with stuff and what refs don't. He has to be really smart. Like that, know that you have to be sharp on.
Let me say, all right, the question we're in agreement, right? We're mostly in agreement. I feel Carson Wentz definitely. I agree with Andre. He needs to be smarter. And he needs to be smart enough to understand that the Bull, he is 24, 25, making millions of dollars. A franchise quarterback. We expect him to last as long, if not longer, than Donovan McNabb did. We expect him to last 10 to 12 years as a franchise quarterback, if not longer, of the Philadelphia Eagles, right? And he needs to understand his value, man. He's in the next to last. No, he's in the last. No, wait. That hasn't been 4 years. This is his third year. He's in the next to last year of his rookie deal. This is his junior NFL season, right? This is his junior year in the NFL. He needs to understand that he is very valuable, and I'm so glad Andre said slide. Listen, Carson, I understand that you are a 6'4", 6'5" quarterback, a 25-year-old quarterback. You're basically a basketball player in a football player's body. I understand what you are, right? But my man, you got injured trying to dive for a touchdown, and you opened yourself up for somebody to lead with their helmet into your knee. That's how you broke your knee. That's how you broke your ACL, your MCL, my man. You need to understand the value of sliding. You need to understand the value of throwing the ball away, living to face another down. You need to not hold the ball long. You need to change it. You need to somewhat change your playing style. Listen, I understand, and Andre knows because I say this a lot. I said this in front of him. You have this Brett Favre gunslinger mentality. And sometimes it's great. Sometimes it gets you injured. And a lot of times it's got you injured. I need you to understand that you are a big man. You are value in this city. You help bring a championship in football for the first time in a long time in this city. You need to be smart with the ball. I understand you're 25. You know, when you're in your 20s, nobody can tell you nothing. You make millions of dollars. Please, my friend. Please, my brother, change your playing style. Change it. Listen, slide. Run out of balance. Stop the living dangerously because I'm in my 20s lifestyle on the football field. You have a very short window as a football player, my man. I like you. You're a Christian. I want you to play as long as you can. I don't want you taking stupid risks. Diving for a touchdown against the Rams, why I admire it, thought it was a great play, was a stupid decision. Slide. Please slide. Please slide. Please throw the ball away. Please, like Andre said, get rid of it quicker. The reason why, even though I like Tom Brady, I respect Tom Brady, the reason Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and all them lasted is because they get rid of the ball quick. My man, get rid of the ball quick. Die. Listen, Russell Wilson is a mobile quarterback. But even he slides, runs out of bounds, doesn't play dangerously. He's also in his 20s. My man, Carson Wentz, change the style, please. I want you to last. I really do. 10 to 13 years. I want you to last. I want to keep writing stories about how great you are, how great you've been for this city. I don't want to write a story that says he's played his last down as a 26-year-old because he never changed his style and he kept being stupid and trying to make unnecessary plays. Recognize that you are a franchise quarterback. Recognize that the Eagles do not end up in a lot, and I know it's not a lottery. They don't end up with top draft picks too often. And when they put one on you and you end up as the same pick as Donovan McNabb did, a number 2 pick, you are valued, my man. Change that playing style. Be smart with the football. Listen to Doug Peterson. Listen to the new offensive coordinator. Listen to Andre and me. We're looking out for your best interests. Please play smart with the ball. Just change it a little bit. I'm not saying you gotta stop. You gotta stop being a gunslinger. All I'm saying is stop making unnecessary running plays. You are not a running back. You are a quarterback. Andre, go ahead. You can follow up.
Yeah, he just gotta be smart, man. Like, you hit on all the points. You hit it correctly. Carson, we love you, man. We do. And listen, I get it. It's more fun to play with the gunslinger mentality. It looks better for highlight reels. It makes the game more interesting. But it does not give you a longevity in career. It does not. Like, living dangerously is going to catch up with you. Period. I don't care who you are. Like, we love Mike Vick. That's why people still love Mike Vick to this day. Even though he had a short-term career with the Philadelphia Eagles and he had a longer career with the Falcons, he played with the gunslinger mentality. He played with the, I'm going to get everything out of the play. Sometimes you got to live for the next down. You got to live for a longer career. You got to live to finish out your contract. You got to live so you just stay healthy for the whole season. It's not smart to keep trying to dive for the touchdown. Or listen, you got running backs for us, you got receivers for. You know, your job is not to dive for the unless it's wide open and like nobody's there, and you know you're not going to take the hit. By all means, just jump in like it's a pool. I don't care. I could care less. But if it's going to risk injury, if it's going to risk you coming out of play, anything, man, like just you gotta get away from it, man. You gotta change your mentality of I'm gonna make sure everything gets done. No, you do your job the best way you can and rely on your teammates. It's like that's why I say it's a team game. It's not about Carson Wentz all the time getting it done. And I know he probably would tell you I'm not relying on myself all the time, but you are. When you do things that are more and more dangerous, you're relying more upon you. But when you do things that are more safe and you allow your teammates you trust them to do their job fully, then we get to where we need to get to.
All right, we're moving right along to our next one. All right, Andre, your thoughts on the arrest at the Starbucks here in our city, bringing some darkness into our city. Go ahead and talk on that, my man.
Starbucks. Where do we start with you? I love you, Starbucks, and I'm an avid. I'm not as big as some people going every day. You know, that's not me. I go every now and then, but when I do go, I've spent a lot of money at Starbucks. Just needless to say, like last time, not the last time, but the time before the last time, I spent like $75 in Starbucks. I bought like 2 cups and something to drink and something to eat. So, you know, Starbucks ain't cheap. So for them to treat us any kind of way that's not stellar, it's ridiculous. And myself, I'll just talk from my own experience. I won't even talk about, we'll get to that in a second. When I've walked in Starbucks, you know, people, they give you a certain look like, what are you doing here? Do you know what you want? Like, instead of more of a welcoming, friendly type environment, hey, anything in the menu I can help you with or anything like that? And I'm not going to lie. Some Starbucks I went into, I've experienced it. But I will say, the ones in Center City that I've gone into have given me more of a negative mentality. And that's really bad, Starbucks. Like, you got to get your guys together. I understand you're in the city and that you receive kind of all kind of attitudes and all kind of people from backgrounds, but you're trained for that. And like, listen, if you're not ready to be a customer service rep, don't take a customer friendly job. It's just that simple. You know, like, listen, get people in there that want to be there, that want to service an alien if he comes in. Forget him being black, him being Spanish, him being Asian, whatever. It was such a horrible situation what we saw. We saw 2 gentlemen come in, and you know they sat down from the store we were told. They sat down, then they decided they want to go to the bathroom. And then one of the employees, I don't know if it's the manager or an employee, told them, no, you got to buy something. First of all, that's the dumbest policy any business has ever had. And I understand, like, they deal with the problem of homeless people, but come on now. Now, you can normally tell, unless you're blind or something, when somebody's homeless or someone is just asking to use the bathroom. You know, because I understand, you know, the homeless people problem with them getting in the bathroom, locking the bathrooms and not getting out. I've talked to Starbucks employees about it before. And, you know, it's a bad situation. But, you know, when you open to the public, you're going to get situations that aren't good for everyone, you know. So you're going to have to deal with it. Like, you're just going to have to deal with it. They handled the situation so improper, so wrong. It was so racist. For them not to say it's racist is totally absurd. The fact that they're going through a training that's through racial bias tells you it was racist. For them to call the police, like, why did it escalate there so fast? Really? First of all, your policy says that you're a meeting place, that people come in there. They have. I've had, and I had an interview in there for acting class I was taking. I didn't buy anything. Now the guy who I was meeting, he bought something, but I just came in and had my meeting and I left. And I see people meeting there all the time. I see people in their laptops and all that, and they promote this stuff. They promote their free Wi-Fi. They have outlets all over the place. They've got checkerboards. They've got chess boards. And I've had people approach me. You want to play some chess? And I'm like, no, I'm good, man. Like, because I didn't have time at the time. But for them to call the police, for those police to even arrest those men, that shows a fact of racist on their part as well. Why wouldn't they come in, find out what the policy was, talk to the manager, and then determine whether or not to take them out in the handcuffs? Because the ultimate job of a police officer is to de-escalate situations, not escalate situations, or to just follow protocol. Sometimes you got to use your brain. Come on now. I know what your protocol says, but what does your brain say? Like, is this morally right? I thought police officers was always supposed to err on the side of caution and to do the moral thing. What's the whole thing about integrity and all that? Like, they show no integrity on this part. And for the police commissioner, Richard Ross, like, he let me down. I was so disappointed in him coming across saying they follow protocol. We know that. We can care less about that. What we're saying is these were two gentlemen that did nothing wrong, and you got a white man that was meeting them. So what did they do wrong in the video? What did they do wrong? That's the only time change happens, when somebody from another race speaks up. Sad to say, but that's how it is. In Starbucks, I'm so ashamed of you, and I support the notion that we shouldn't even support Starbucks anymore. We should build our own business. Don't boycott. Start our own business. Listen, when people treat us wrong, we have to speak profoundly and say, never again. I bet you won't do this again. Now, I hope that every other business pays attention. It doesn't have to be coffee shops. It's just any place, anywhere. Donut shops. It could be restaurants, diners. Value your customers. Period. Is that hard to do? Without them, you wouldn't have a business.
All right, let me say this, and I agree with Andre. Let me speak my piece. I had a conversation about this earlier. I haven't put my thoughts on this on Facebook, Twitter. I've left my voice out of the dialogue on this. For such a time as this. I had a discussion earlier with one of my family friends slash mentors about this. Right, he was firmly on the side, sort of like uh a lot of African Americans that there should be boycotts and everything else. But here's what I'll say about that. Right now, obviously, it's a shameful situation. Andre did a beautiful job touching on how shameful that situation was. That manager had the Heil, I believe her name is. I might be butchering it. I think it's either Heather. I got the last name right. I just think it's either Heather or Holly Heil. I might be getting the Heather name from the girl that died in Charlottesville, and her name might not be Heather. It might be Holly, but I know the last name is right, Heil. What Miss Heil did was very, 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 very dumb. I don't understand why. I don't understand it. I don't understand the irrational fear of blackness. I really don't. Like, I don't understand why people think that because you're a black guy, whether you be 5'8", 5'9", most of us are in between the 5'8" to about 5'10", 5'12" category. We talk about the regular African Americans that are not, LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and the rest of them. why I never understand the irrational fear of African Americans. I've got stories. I know Andre probably got some stories about being profiled, being followed in stores, blah 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 blah. You know, we could run through these stories, right? But never, because you know, for me, when I go to Starbucks, and I like Starbucks, I go there about maybe 2 or 3 times a year. But I'm not a coffee drinker. I don't really like coffee. I don't drink coffee. You know, I go there more for the frappuccinos. Um, I think I think that one thing I will say, and this is what I said to anybody who I talked to about this. I'm a hit y'all. I'm a hit y'all because we are Christians in this podcast. We're sports journalists and sports fans that just so happen to be Christian. Hit y'all with the scripture, the Ephesians scripture. We fight not against principality. We fight not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and kingdoms and different things like that, right? So what? And I use the scripture to say this. I want y'all to understand, right? You are not up against Starbucks. You are up against a culture that has been inscribed in this country for 300 plus years, going on 300 years, that says that African Americans are beneath. Understand, you boycotting Starbucks, you boycotting any of that is not going to change anything. Not going to change the culture. We are up against the culture. And here's what I tell you can do about being up against the culture. Take your friends, take your networks, take your businesses, take your friends that are not black, because right now we're in the echo chamber. They don't want to listen. You have to take your this is what I suggest every African American, every ally, everybody do. Take your chamber, because listen, all this starts at home, right? She didn't come out with an irrational fear. We'll just call it what it is: an irrational fear of African American men. And it's come out that she's done this before, right? It just so happened, like the great philosopher Will Smith said, racism hasn't changed. It's just being caught on tape now. We got phones. We catch it on tape now. That's all it is, right? So listen, I'm telling y'all right now that this thing, as far as y'all boycotting, I'm not going to tell anybody what to do with their money. You choose to boycott Starbucks, you choose to boycott Starbucks. But I want y'all to know that you're up against the culture. And the best way to change a culture is to start having conversations. You don't like the way the police treat you? Yeah, let me suggest something to you. Whether you live in Philadelphia, if you live in a big city, you live in a suburb, you live in a town, your police chiefs, your local police officers have local meetings where they open themselves up for you to talk to them. Go to those meetings. I go to mine. Go to those meetings. Hold your people accountable. Ask them what they're doing to have a better relationship with communities of color in your area. Ask them that. Hold them accountable. That's the best way you can do it. Listen, I know we say you change stuff with your money, but let me tell you something. Listen, I didn't like Starbucks' initial response, but they're shutting down for Memorial Day weekend, a time where everybody be in Starbucks because a lot of people don't have to work. They're shutting down for Memorial Day so they can do racial training. I mean, literally, they've apologized. The guy's gonna meet with them. Honestly, initially they didn't have all I wanted them to do was fire the girl, and they did that. They've done a lot more than I expected them to do. They're a very progressive company. I'm not defending Starbucks. I'm just saying this is a very progressive company. They've done what I wanted in firing them, and they've gone way beyond what I thought they would. I mean, when H&M had a situation similar to this, all y'all remember the T-shirt incident. All they did was put a Facebook post together and apologize, and didn't go no further. So I give Starbucks credit for going a lot further than most companies would, right? And I agree with Andre. The other companies need to pay attention. But what I will say is this, guys. We need to start doing more. For real. We need to start doing more. If you feel your calling and doing more is boycotting Starbucks and not putting your money in Starbucks, that's fine. More power to you. But I just need to let y'all know that y'all are up against a culture of a culture that is built on being stereotypical, profiling, keeping African Americans hand underfoot. So, and the only way to really change that is, like I said, using your network, using your spheres of influence to battle the culture, because that's the best way we go to battle this culture. Starbucks is doing what they can, and I'm interested to see if this happens anymore once they shut down for racial trading. I know it's come out that it happened at another Starbucks in LA and Charlotte, but again, as far as Philadelphia goes, this was one individual manager that was prejudiced against African Americans, and the evidence is bearing that out. But I do hope Starbucks does more. Hopefully, we don't have any more of these incidences anymore. But what I will say is, we are up against the culture. We're not battling against humans. We're battling against the culture, and y'all need to do more. We all need to do more. I need to do more too. Like, go to your meetings, go to your local police meetings, do more, get involved, organize some town hall meetings. I know my church, and Andre knows this, we've had a racial reconciliation where we got together with churches, white churches in Philadelphia, the greater Philadelphia area, and had a conversation. Do that. Listen, there's a lot more stuff that's going to be solved by us conversing and talking this out than will ever be solved by us taking our money out. Listen, that's a long, slow, and arduous process, man. You boycott, it's going to take a while. Just like it took a while for the Montgomery bus boycott to work. It takes a while when you boycott stuff. It's a lot better. Like I said, I won't tell people what to do with their money. But I really feel like we're up against the culture, and the best way to handle a culture is using your sphere of influence to do different things. To use your voice. Use your voice in that instance. That's what I think. That's what I think we should do. Moving right along. All right, Andre. What do you think of Adidas wanting to sign Cap, but only if a team signs him? Go ahead.
I like the idea that Adidas wants to sign him, but I will say this: go a step further, Adidas. Don't just dip your foot in the pool and see if it's warm. Dive in. Now you've made this first step, so take the step even further and say we're going to sign Colin Kaepernick, because you never know what kind of spark to the culture that would do, especially if you start putting some of his sayings on the sneaks, or you start putting I don't know, black figures on the sneaks. Now you're like really embracing what he's standing for and the injustice that's going on in America. Now we're speaking volumes, and we're creating more dialect to talk, and more dialogue to more dialogue is what I'm going to say, not dialect. More dialogue about how powerful Colin Kaepernick is doing. The fact that he sacrificed his career to understand what's going on is much bigger than his career. That's how you're ahead of your time. When you obviously speak up as an activist for everyone. Like, I applaud you, Adidas. I really do. But I need you to do more than that than just saying if a team signs you. Because that's kind of like, skating around it. Like, you know it's potentially that a team might not sign him at all. We just saw it. We just saw it with the team. I forget what the team was, but the team that worked him out and asked him, "Are you still on the nil?" Which I think is kind of, I think it's none of their business, to be honest with you. Like, that's his guy right to stand or put his hand across his heart. It's up to him. He's still an American no matter what he does. It might publicly might not look good PR wise, but whatever. That's his right as an American. And that's the other thing I don't understand. Like, we say we're a free country, you're freedom of speech, you're free to do whatever. But as soon as somebody speaks out and does something, then we start acting like a dictatorship. No, you can't do that. That's not right. The troops fought for us. He's not. He said it time and time again. I'm not talking about the troops. What I'm fighting for is the injustice going on in America for African Americans. That's what I'm speaking about. These black men are dying, and no one is saying anything about it. And they're just saying it's okay, and they're saying shut up, be quiet, and play ball, and they're saying fire him. A president says that. Come on, man. Come on. The only time the president should be focused on sports is when they come to the White House. Other than that, unless he's watching to support his team or just to see a good game, fine. But for him to get involved in the matters of the owner firing their employees, that's none of his business. Unless they're doing something unlawful. That's the only other way. But if they are writing, if they're doing within their regulations and rules, like, man, mind your business, really. Donald Trump, mind your business. Stop focusing on other stuff, the covfefe, as you like to say, and stay focused on your business. Stay focused on Putin, stay focused on Korea, stay focused on our trades, our roads, our bridges, our infrastructure that's tearing down right in front of our eyes, on this opioid epidemic, on this weed that everybody wants to make legal. Like, you got so much more. Stay focused on the schools. The schools need you. You got kids marching out of classes talking about something. I just want to live. But they won't change the gun law for me.
Matt, you go ahead. We're on Adidas wanting to sign Cap, and you can also go in on Starbucks or whatever question you want to answer, and then I'll go.
Hey, if Adidas is willing to pay a man or any athlete money for whatever, then who is the judge? All he has to do is sign the team, and that's that. So honestly, I don't know why anyone. I don't know what's the hoopla about it. I don't know why everyone gripe and complain and be all cry about it. That if you want to get signed, you want to get signed. That's number one. Number two, Starbucks. Now, I have not heard everybody's diatribe on it. Here's my diatribe. If you remember, a while back, that Starbucks had a cup. Well, I can't remember the hashtag exactly, but what it was referring to getting people to talk about race. And some people went pretty much, excuse my French, batshit crazy. When Starbucks did one year they had the Merry Christmas thing, and no one said anything about it. And then when they took the Merry Christmas, it was a plain red cup. People griping about it. There was a hoopla about that too. And now we got this problem. People griping bitch about this one. Now, the last one I said is a reason to go crazy. You have a right to go crazy on that one, but the other two, you shouldn't. You shouldn't go crazy at all. So, with that being said, here you go. Number one, you should not. I have been to Starbucks many times for a long time. I have once never got the eye, not the stink eye, the look eye, or any type of eye. That's never. And number two, everybody knows that when you go to Starbucks, that's like a chill spot. Everybody knows that. And what happened at 18th and Spruce was uncalled for. Ladies and gentlemen, let me remind you who is running the country right now. Let me remind you what's going on right now as far as the race side of things. That people have been super duper bolted, if you will, thanks to some idiot who spent more time at pen in bed, golf spots in his resort than than actually doing his job. So this in the reaction of how we've been taking it, honestly, and this is my take on it. If you don't like it, ask my right horn. This is my take on it. At least you have to give Starbucks credit that they are not trying to do patchwork. They're not trying to do, well, we're gonna do a little bit here, a little bit there, and everybody's happy. They're going beyond that. Instead, they're going the route of, okay, there is a serious problem. We tried to address it before, but you know what? We're going to address this sucker internally because, frankly, as far as they're concerned, it's not only the bottom dollar they're worried about. They said, I know the CEO in the interview said this is an investment. So yeah, it may be the date may be late, but they consider it as an investment to themselves to see to it that this problem does not resurrect itself into a bigger one. And honestly, I believe there are some, not all, but there are some people who do feel very, very threatened at the sight of a African American person, particularly an African American male, let alone 2 or 3 of them, because of what they perceive in the media. So on that note, this is where we are, and we as African Americans, we need not to react to everything. Instead, just take a step back and look at things from a different perspective. And bear with me. Of course, we all want to react to everything. That's the most sexy thing to do. But instead of reacting to everything like we always do, I think taking a different look at how things are viewed and what companies are doing to fix said view or image is pretty much the important thing that they're doing right now. So everybody just chill, fall back. Yes, boycotting is not the thing to do. If you want to boycott, that's your prerogative. But boycotting is not the sexy thing to do. Not right now. Because remember, they came up with a hashtag that pissed off a whole slew of people, trying to get people to talk about, I don't know, race maybe? So, that's my diatribe on it. I say do not boycott this. If you want to boycott Starbucks, go ahead, but I'm gonna get off this diatribe right now because I'd rather get my blood boiled up on other things.
All right, look, I'm just gonna say this as far as the Kaepernick thing. You know, I applaud Adidas, for taking a stand and putting a positive spin on a negative situation that happened last week with the Seahawks and everything. I wish they would have just signed him already without him being on the team, but or hopefully somebody will sign Colin Kaepernick. But I'm glad that Adidas is putting out there and putting their name as a company and their reputation as somebody that's used to signing and having deals with rebels and everything to come on out and using their reputation to try and help Colin Kaepernick. So I applaud Adidas for that. Now, like I said, with the caveat of I wish they would just sign him and not put the caveat of he got to be on the team first. But that's just me. All right, so moving right along. All right, y'all. I know the Sixers play in an hour or so. A little less than over an hour, probably like 45 minutes. So our analysis of Heat Sixers so far. I'll start. Like I said earlier, the Sixers right now, they were doing very well, especially in the first game. They took advantage of their strength, which was, getting wide open shots. Ben Simmons was able to get, let's see, JJ Redick, Marco Bellinelli, and them open in the first game. They got a lot of turnovers from the Heat. They definitely limited their turnovers in game one. And they did it in game 3 too. They were able to get just using the most recent game as an example, the return of Joel Embiid really propelled them. The Sixers were able to play and be aggressive, their aggressive selves. Joel Embiid hit some very, very good looking 3-point shots. The chippiness, I mean, this is old school playoff basketball right now. The chippiness and the stuff. Now, while I didn't like that Justice Winslow broke Embiid's goggles, I know Matt will probably go in on that in a second. I didn't really like that, but hey, it's old school playoff basketball. I'm liking the rivalry, the budding rivalry between the Sixers and Heat. I'm liking the fact that, Joel Embiid came and imprinted his will on the game, and he hasn't played basketball in a little over 2 months because May is coming up. So basically a month and a half. I really like that. I like the fact that Ben Simmons in game one really put his stamp on the game. My one concern with the Sixers is the fact of they turn the ball over, they get lulled to sleep, they get a little bit too arrogant for their own good, and I think that's what happened in game two. But for the Sixers, victory for the Sixers, folks, comes down to two things. Do they limit their turnovers, and will the refs let them play the aggressive, blue chip Philly basketball that they can play? In game two, that didn't happen. The refs didn't let them play aggressive, didn't let them bang with the Heat. We'll see if that happens this game. If they're allowed to play their style of game, aggressive, risky basketball sometimes, oh yes. And with the real Rocco, please stand up. I may not like Covington sometimes. He makes some stupid plays. He throws the ball away. He takes shots way too early. Y'all, a lot of y'all that listen to this show, Matt and Andre both know my least favorite player on the Philadelphia 76ers is Covington. If Kawhi Leonard or LeBron James come here, I hope the first person on the plane out of Philadelphia is Covington. And I don't really like him. He doesn't do well. He hasn't had a good playoffs for me. But with the real Covington, please stand up. My man, you are due. Everybody's had a good game but you. You're due. It's time to show up. This is where you earn your money. You're the defensive anchor for the Sixers. You're supposed to be able to shut down Dwayne Wade. Didn't work in game two. I don't know what you've been doing. I don't know what happened to the Covington of the last month and a half, but you need to find that Covington. If you show up, the Sixers can dominate. This will be over in 5 games, not 6. Please show up. So if they're allowed, like I said, they're allowed to play their aggressive, risky style of basketball, and they limit their turnovers. And now that Joel Embiid's back, I think it'll be good. I still think this is going to be a 5-game series. So Sixers and 5. Go ahead, Matt. Matt, are you there?
I'm here, but Dre, you take it.
All right. So with the next question, I thought Heat versus 76ers analysis. I think the Sixers look good. I think they win the series. No, I don't think. I know they're gonna win the series. I think the series will go to 6 games. I don't think go to 7. I think it go to 6. The reason I say so is because the analysis, because of inexperience. Playoff basketball is unlike regular season basketball. Like, teams just play harder. They don't take nights off. They can't afford to. Because once you build momentum, it's just like driving in a car or riding a bike. If someone's in front of you, you not only have to do their speed, but you got to do a little bit more than that just to catch up and pass them. So the same thing is true for the Sixers. They have to catch up to the experience and the toughness that the Miami Heat team has had when they've been losing for so long. They're used to just quitting and giving up. And lately they've been hot. I can't discredit the Sixers of that, but we can't get carried away with it. We can't say that it's just going to be a cakewalk from. I don't believe that at all. I believe Dwayne Wade is going to have nights where he's going to look beautiful. And he's going to have nights where you see that player that's been in the league but so long. It's got all that basketball knowledge on him. Don't forget who Dwayne Wade is. He has a championship. He's been the MVP of the finals. He's played for the Olympic team. He's played deep into the playoffs year after year after year. That's because he's a winner. That all plays into the analysis of what the Heat are going to do because they're following his direction. He's been there time and time again. He's seen 76er teams. He's seen teams that come close to what the Sixers have. Now, he hasn't seen the Joel Embiid, I'll tell you that. Or Ben Simmons. Players of their height, they can do what they do. Ben Simmons can get to the basket. He can draw defenders. And he's basically unstoppable when he wants to really score. He's unstoppable. And so is Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid can dominate. He can be dominant in the paint. Now, I think what Dwayne Wade had saw that within Shaq. Now, I'm still not convinced on Brett Brown's coaching. It's okay to me, but I still don't think he's that coach to take him to that level to win that championship. And ultimately, if they do win a championship with Brett Brown, it will be because the players themselves took the initiative and pushed to another level. I don't see Brett Brown being the Greg Popovich, the Phil Jackson, the Larry Brown, the type of coach that pushes you to greatness. Not good, just greatness. So it's going to be an interesting series. Next game, Sixers win. I'm going to say the game after that they lose. And then Sixers win again and the series over. So I think it will go to 6 games. But you know what? I'm sorry. Matter of fact, it's not going to
I'm going. I'm going to stoke the fire. What type of coach do you want personally for a nucleus like the Sixers? What type of coach do you think you want?
I know what kind of coach I know I want. I don't think. I know I want. I want a Larry Brown. I want a Doug Collins. I want a coach that's going to get in their face. That's not a player's coach. But I don't even want a player's coach. I want a coach that's getting in your ass, that knows when to dial it back, a Doc Rivers type of coach. Y'all going to have to figure this out. I'm not going to call the timeout. You've been coached. You've been prepared. We've practiced hard. That's the kind of coach I want. That's the kind of culture I want.
But let's put it this way. Even though Brett Brown's been with this team, even when they were 10-72, right? And they don't you
when
think?
They were tanking?
Yes, when they were tanking.
Yeah. Don't sugar the shit. Tell me the truth.
I'm not going to sugarcoat this, but you have to put it this way. You knew when he came over from San Antonio, you're going to get a San Antonio-like type of team. And believe it or not, you're watching it right now. Right, it took this long, but it's right in front of your face right now. This team is one of the best defensive teams in the NBA right now. And you're telling me that you're not sold on Brett Brown and you want a teaching coach like Larry Brown or an emotional coach like Doug Collins? I mean, look.
Do they have championships? Answer that. The coaches I named, do they all have championships? Or a championship?
Like, come on, Brett Brown has a ring.
Yeah.
So
being an assistant.
But as an assistant,
I'm talking about head coach. As head coach.
Both Larry Brown and Doug Collins have never won a title. Never. They have come close, but never.
Larry Brown won the
So-
title with the Pistons. What are you talking about?
Larry Brown. Oh no, you're right. Never mind. You're right. Never mind. I take that back.
But you're
But-
right, and I'll
but-
take it back. Doug Collins didn't win the championship. He should have. But he didn't win the championship. But he pushes his players. You can tell me that Doug Collins is on the same level with developing players as Brett Brown is.
But you have to remember, when he took the team, he knew that it's going to be lean years, and his job would be to develop the talent. That would be his job to develop it now. So by the time we get to the point that we are right now, we're rolling.
Name one player. Name one player that Brett Brown has taken to, whether it be star level to superstar level, to okay player to deserves to be an NBA player. Name one player that he's done it to.
We don't know yet.
Exactly my point. We should know. How long has he been here? How long does it take for you to develop a player? One player. I'm not talking about team. One player.
Look, but you have to remember. But also you have to remember this: you had a front office that was stockpiling draft picks. You had not that great talent coming in at the time. You was pretty much stockpiling draft picks to get to this point, a la Embiid, Simmons, Fultz, etc. You had to stockpile it to get here. Remember, look, while we were trusting the process, and we all were trusting the process, we knew the players that were coming in weren't going to be here very long. I.e. MCW, Nerlens Noel, and others.
Should we keep Brett Brown? Is he the coach that's going to get us championships? Not a championship, championships.
But look, right now.
Yes or no?
Look.
You can go and you spill.
What was your question again?
Is Brett Brown the coach that's going to win us championships?
I don't know. It depends. It depends if things fall the way that it's supposed to. I believe. I'm going to answer the question. If things fall the
way, hypothetical scenarios. You can apply that to anybody. Anybody.
At this rate, it's possible. Yes, it's possible. Yes, it's possible. And here's why.
It's possible that I could become a millionaire. It might not be probable, but it's possible.
But hey, let me break this down for you. If you watch the second half of the NBA season, the Sixers turned it on. It's like they were playing different. They played differently from.
Dude, that still doesn't win me a championship.
Look,
the Rockets were hot last season. Did they win a championship? I don't want to see a hot team. I want to see rings. You start bringing me rings, then we can have a conversation.
First of all, the goal is to get there. We have to get there first, right? And the way the playoffs is right now, and the weather that is the NBA playoffs right now, you have pretty much a ailing, hurt Boston Celtics team. You have a Cleveland Cavalier team that's looking incomplete, if you will. I mean, as the season progressed, this team got better and better and better and better. And this is only the beginning. I said this on this podcast before, that this team could go as far as the Eastern Conference Finals, and I stick by that. Are they going to win the NBA Finals? The answer, they're not going to even get there, let alone win it. So I'm not going to say let's take this year and scratch it, but anything can happen in the playoffs. Anything. We've seen some crazy things happen in all four sports in the playoffs. We've seen it. However, this team rattled off 17 wins, including the playoffs. 17 straight wins. And of that 17, they've been playing pretty much lights out. Albeit they had some pretty low 500 teams to end the season, But the big barometer was Cleveland, and they handled Cleveland pretty well. Now, game one against Miami, they handled Miami pretty well. But game two, Miami answered back. I'll get with Vince's Dwayne Wade. I will give him that game. But game three, the Sixers answered back. And that game was back and forth.
Matt, let me ask you this question. Is the Miami Heat the weakest team in the playoffs right now in the East?
Weakest team in the playoffs? I don't know. I mean, I think I really believe.
All you gotta do is compare them, man. So is
I believe no.
Is the Celtics
no, the answer is no.
Celtics better than Miami Heat?
The answer is no. The answer is no, because why? From 5 to 8 teams, 5 to 8, they're evenly matched. Honestly, from 5 to 8 teams are evenly matched.
Are you serious, Matt? You telling me Toronto matches up? Well,
I said from 5 to 8. Heat. I said from 1 to 4. From 5 to 8, they're evenly matched.
Right. I apologize. You did say 5 to 8. You did say 5 to 8. So let's look at 5 to 8. But you mean tell me the Sixers are matched up evenly with the Miami Heat, talent-wise?
Talent-wise, I think the Sixers are slightly better. Slightly. They're slightly better.
Even with Dwayne Wade in the last leg of his career?
They're slightly better team because
not playing up to his potential.
All right, back to y'all. We're gonna be doing this all day. Y'all with y'all hypotheticals. Back to y'all corners. Listen, all right. Not to cut that off. That was some great dialogue, but we'll be here all day with them. All right. All right, y'all. Is the return of Joel Embiid the spark the Sixers needed? Go ahead, Matt.
Well, let me see here. How can I word this? I'm not gonna say it's not just a spark, but it changed the game. You look at games 1 and 2. They were playing. They were different. They were a different type of team. So was the offense pretty much revolved around Ben Simmons, basically. And yes, one of the knocks on him is that he can't shoot. He can't knock down long range shots, but he can create shots for others. But now Embiid's back, it puts the focus back on the post game. It puts the focus back on the post game, which opens up a lot of the 3-point shooting in the mid range. So by him, I'm a big philosopher in this. When you have a big man who commands so much attention, it opens up the floor offensively and defensively with the style that he plays. It forces you to change your offensive game plan. So the Sixers definitely needed it. The Sixers definitely changes the whole series complexion by him being there. So, with that being said, yeah, they need that spark. It was more than the spark. It's the fact that, look, him being there is going to take the series way towards the Sixers' favor. Without it, it kind of balanced itself out. It could have went 7, Sixers winning, but him being there, Sixers in 6.
Dre.
Joel Embiid is the spark the Sixers needed because Ben Simmons can't make a jump shot, and Markelle Fultz hasn't had enough time to develop himself. He just started playing the end of the season. Like, he needs to play more of the regular season in order to turn it up to the temperature it needs to be for the playoffs. The playoffs are a different beast. You know, it's like dealing with Eric Bana, and then you got to deal with the Hulk. The Hulk is no joke, cuz He's getting more and more angry the more that you fight him. That's exactly what the playoffs are. So if you start going against teams hard and playing harder, they're going to get tougher. They're going to get more dominant. They're going to show you everything they have in the tank. They're not going to leave anything left. On the bench and the locker room, it's going to be all left out on the court. So listen, Joel Embiid needs to be there for the defensive presence. He needs to be there for, dare I say, the 3-point presence. The guy can shoot threes. And Ben Simmons can't shoot damn threes. What the hell? It's the era we live in, people. You just got to embrace it. Big men can shoot now. But some big men can't shoot. For example, Ben Simmons. What the hell? Listen, Joel Embiid, hands down, is the best player. Period. There's no debate on it. He changes the game when he comes in. Period. And not to saying that Ben Simmons doesn't change the game, but not like Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid can play you defensively and he can play you offensively. He's very versatile. He can hit a three. He can hit a mid-range jumper. He can score in the paint like he's Shaq. He can hit whatever shot he wants. Ben Simmons cannot do that. His game is not fully developed. And shoot, Joel Embiid hasn't even hit his ceiling. He still has more in the tank to give you. He's got to keep pushing himself to that next level. That's it. But with him being there, oh man, you can slow the game down there. But when Ben Simmons was there, you had to speed the game up. You couldn't slow it down because they didn't have a jump shooter to get that mid-range jump shot.
Yeah, Joel Embiid is the spark that the Sixers needed. And he came back just when they needed it. Like I said, the Sixers were on the ropes. And then they came back. Like, I'm gonna be the boldest out of everybody. I'm still saying Sixers and 5. I said it last week. I'm saying it this week. Sixers and 5. Joel Embiid, the return of Joel Embiid sent this team from they were a good team. Like I said, they won 17 straight games. They were definitely a good to great team. They were peaking at the right time. Like I said, this is what a lot of people missed about the Eagles too. And the Sixers are kind of mirroring the Eagles. I'm not saying they're going to end up in the finals and win it. They might, maybe they will, maybe they won't. Who knows? But this is what a lot of people miss. See, in the playoffs, Andre been talking about the playoffs. But this is one thing that football and basketball have in common. The one thing that they both have in common. This hot, streaky team that starts in the playoffs, that comes together at the right time during the playoffs, gets healthy at the right time, usually goes far in the playoffs. And the only team that we can say that about in the East or the West is the Sixers. The Sixers were the only team that had, besides the Warriors, the Sixers were the only team.
I gotta stop you there for a second because you have to remember the streaky teams at baseball too. For example, the Rockies, they streaked through the playoffs to get to the World Series.
That's true. Okay. But anyway, the streaky teams are the ones that go far in the playoffs. Now for the Sixers, what do we always say about basketball, football, and baseball teams? The team that gets hot at the right time usually goes far in the playoffs. Doesn't matter if they're experienced. Doesn't matter if they're inexperienced. Because I'm sure most people would have said the Eagles were inexperienced in the postseason. And what happened? So, all it takes is the right coaching. And listen, Andre was destroying Brett Brown, but Brett Brown coached his butt off in Game 3. He put in Justin Anderson. He made the right adjustments. I got to give the devil his due. I've killed Brett Brown multiple times on this podcast, too. But he's showing his experience. He's showing that Greg Popovich tree, especially in Game 3. Now this is Game 4. We'll see what happens. We'll see if he can adjust to the adjustments in Game 4. But let's just say this: Joel Embiid was the spark. Brett Brown plugged it in at the right time. The Sixers played it right, and they brought Joel Embiid back. He proved us all right and made everybody look good. Let's see if that happens in game 4. I'm still saying the Sixers in 5. The Sixers in 5. And if this team, like I said, if this team that showed up, if the team, I said this last week, if the team that showed up and blew out the Bucks and blew out the Cavaliers a couple of weeks ago shows up in the playoffs, the Sixers can make it to the finals. If the Sixers can do what they did, replicate the success, not play down to their talent, not play down to the teams that they're playing, they're not play down, not get arrogant, they'll make it. This is the playoffs, people. All it takes is somebody getting hot at the right time, the right coach, and somebody playing without fear. At the Sixers right now, that's what's going to happen for them. Will they make it to the finals? Yet to be determined. But they're the team. They're the streaky team. They're the team that got hot at the right time and got healthy at the right time. And generally, those teams wind up playing for a championship later. We'll see. Joel Embiid was the right spark for the right time. All right, y'all. So moving right along. Will Dez Bryant stay in the NFC East? I've added this in. For those of you that don't know, Matt wasn't here. Matt, somebody hit us up. They want us to recap it because they were lost. They were a football person and they were lost when they happened to tune in at our college basketball show and were completely lost. But so I have to recap everything now. One of us has to recap everything now before we go in. So, for those of you that have been living under a rock, Dez Bryant was released by the Cowboys. He finally outlived his usefulness, and they cut him. So, guys, will Dez Bryant stay in the NFC East? Will he be a Giant, a DC football team member, or...
Stop right there. Stop. Don't you can stop that list right now. He is not coming to Philadelphia. I do not want that man nowhere near this team. I don't want him nowhere near Eagle Green. If he does go near Eagle Green, guess what? His ass will be on the turf because of Eagle Green. Other than that, I don't want that man nowhere near not Philadelphia, not in Delaware Valley. No. In fact, let's take a look at the wide receiver situation for the Eagles. We have Alshon Jeffrey at the 1. We got Nelson Aguilar 2. No, Mike Wallace 2. Aguilar in the slot. Matt Collins the 4. We're good. We probably got another wide receiver at the 5 somewhere. No, we're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. We had one, Terrell Owens, and nope, we're good. We're good. Nope. Let's take a look at the Redskins. You know what? The red team might go. Yeah, I can see him go to the red team because, frankly, Dan Snyder like to overpay people. But and as for the Giants, no, they're not gonna pay for that either because they're the New York Yankees in the NFL. So no. His best bet is Washington, but other than that, he ain't staying in the NFC East. No, so if you don't you even make that list of putting him on this team? Nope. We're good. We're set. Thank you. Next.
Andre. Dre, you there? Wonder what happened to him. Okay. I think I'm kind of like Matt. If he stays in the NFC East, it'll either be as a Washington football team member or a Giant. Even though the Eagles did release a statement saying at this time we're not interested in Dez Bryant. Emphasis on that at this time. Just saying. But I believe that he'll either end up a Giant or a DC football member or wind up in Baltimore. You know, I said that last week. He might wind up in Baltimore. So, will he stay in the NFC East? That's yet to be determined. I hope not. But we're defensively up to the challenge. Yeah. Andre, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Far as the Dez Bryant situation, I think he will stay in the NFC. I don't think he wants to go to AFC. I can definitely see him on the Redskins squad. I can see him. I don't. He's not gonna come to the Eagles because we've already got our receivers are pretty set, and we don't want that kind of energy in our locker room. Because Dez Bryant is, he's a head case, man. He's one of those players. He's a, sad to say, but he's another like Chad Johnson, Terrell Owens, and to me, he still doesn't have quite the numbers they have. They've done in their career, so it's a lot of hot air. You gotta be ready to take on that situation, But he is a great receiver when he does produce. But it's really a risky situation. So I could either see him going to the Giants or I could see him going to the Redskins. But as far as I don't know. It's just I get the feeling that a lot of teams don't want to deal with the nonsense. They more so want players to shut up unless they are producing but Dez Bryant hasn't produced lately. So it remains to be seen what he's going to do.
All right, guys. I'm gonna see this one over to Matt. This is a Flyers question. I kind of answered this last week. What's wrong with the Flyers, Matt? No, Matt. Yeah, what's wrong with the Flyers? Go ahead.
Look, as much as
Quit giggling and answer the question.
First of all, I want stay in your corner, okay? You stay right there. Number one. Number two, defense. I mean, the defense. First of all, but number one, they can't stay out of the penalty box. That's what they got to do. Stay out the penalty box. Taking stupid penalties. If you notice when the Penguins have won the game, it's because the Flyers cannot stay out the box. So if you want to go, they won last night. Don't get me wrong, but if you want to beat your cross-state rival, the team that I hate the most, the greatest player in the world that every Philadelphia want to punch in the face, stay out of the box. That's what's wrong with it right now. I saw game 3 where the Penguins scored 2-3 of their goals on the power play. So just stay out the box. Stay out of the box. Don't commit stupid penalties and give the Penguins a chance. That's where it boils down to. It's just penalties.
And just to add to that, they need to learn how to score too. They have issues scoring. And they're getting beat up, and they got issues stopping other people scoring. They got goalie issues. So if we get a dominant goalie and we get that player, who was Wayne Simmons, but he's hurt. He's already announced that he's going to have surgery after the season, so he's playing like a hurt player. So therefore,
but the Flyers have always had goalie problems since Ron Hextall was goalie. So that's always.
Yeah, but that still don't make it okay. Get somebody.
It never was okay.
Pay the money, man. Do what you got to do. Whether it's give away draft picks or what, but we got to start producing great goalies, man. Stop getting these goalies that can't stop you.
Give me 30 seconds. Give me 30 seconds.
All right, guys. Moving right along to our next football question. Does Aaron Rodgers? I think this one is self-explanatory. Does Aaron Rodgers have a right to be mad at the Packers for not giving him more say in personnel decisions? I'll start with this one. No, he does not. Aaron Rodgers. I understand. You're the second coming, but understand you will always play second fiddle in that town. to Brett Favre, and into Mike Lombardi and a bunch of other people. But you'll always play as a player.
That's Lombardi, dude.
Not Mike Lombardi. I'm sorry, Vince Lombardi. My bad. You will always be playing second fiddle to Brett Favre, and if Brett Favre may have no say in personnel decisions, you don't get it either, my man. You should have known what type of business this was when they told your best friend Jordy Nelson, deuces, to Oakland you go. You know that? So if Jordy Nelson, and it's a shame Amina isn't here, to Oakland, Jordy Nelson went. So I know you mad because you lost your best friend, but it doesn't entitle you to personnel decisions. And I like you, but you don't get personnel decisions in one of the oldest franchises in football. Now listen, Ted Thompson and them, they're used to doing it their way or the highway. And even though you're Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre thought the same thing. He thought they couldn't move on without him, and they proved them wrong by drafting you. Don't make too much noise, my man, or you will find yourself, because as much as you get injured, you should just be saying, I'm focusing on my health. That's all I'm doing. You shouldn't even be worried about the personnel decisions. You should be focusing on trying to stay healthy and trying not to have your replacement drafted in this year's NFL draft. I would be quiet. I know that some Green Bay Packer fans are like, that's blasphemy. We would never draft somebody else. Really? As injury prone as Aaron Rodgers is, you don't think Ted Thompson and them are all like, hey, maybe we should draft his replacement. We don't want to end up like the New England Patriots and have nothing behind our often injured quarterback. Just a thought. No, Aaron Rodgers, you have no right to be upset if they didn't give it to Brett Favre and he brought them the same amount of rings you did. They're definitely not going to give it to you. At Small Red Horn, go right. Oh, yeah, and if you have a problem, at Kyler W. Watson Twitter. Hit me up, Green Bay Twitter. Go ahead, Matt.
All right. Here you go. If I'm the starting quarterback of the Green Bay Packers, I'll be the first person that I'll be pissed. I'm like this. You just gave away pretty much your number one, number two receiver, right? Unless he was told, look, we're going to draft somebody else or we're looking to get somebody else, that's one thing. But to out of the blue do that, yeah, I got a problem. I'm sorry. I mean, Kyle, I got to disagree with you on this one, bro, but my thing is simply this. How you expect me to get back to the playoffs and hopefully win a 5th Lombardi Trophy, right? With no weapons. I mean, how does that work in the NFL? How does that work? How do you expect me, as one of the best quarterbacks in the league, according to Stephen A. Smith, the fact that he's a bad man, how do you expect this so-called, quote-unquote, bad man to get to wherever you do need to go with less than mediocre talent? It just doesn't work that way. I mean, it just does not. In the NFL, you need at least an elite receiver to get to where you got to go.
But Matt, they have Jimmy Graham. Didn't they pick up Jimmy Graham? They have Jimmy Graham. They have Jimmy Graham.
But that's the tight end, though. You need receivers, though. That's the tight end.
That is a receiver. Ask Nick Foles and Carson Wentz, do they need a tight end?
Yeah, they need a tight end. Who's Zach Ertz? Who or what is Zach Ertz? He's a tight end. But you need guys like Nelson Aguilar and Mike Wallace and and Alshon Jeffrey. You need, I don't know, receivers that can stretch the field, that can catch the damn ball even. So yes, I would be angry. Yes, I would be. Yeah, I got a big target, but dude, unless there's somebody out the draft, or you pluck somebody like, I don't know, Des Bryant, something. You gotta get this man something. If you you replace a good receiver, you better give me something, a cheaper version of that or something. Because honestly, I'll be like, say, yo, what's up? What's going on here? I mean, y'all trying to win or not? That's just where I'm at right now. Yeah, Kyle, I gotta disagree with you with this one. I rarely disagree with you with certain things, but this one, I'm sorry, bro. You probably on an island by yourself on this one, bro.
I agree with you. I agree with you, man. I definitely say I disagree with Colin. How you expect me to be the quarterback, the most vital position, the general of the squad, and not have say in who I'm going to play with? You know, it behooves you. It just throw anybody into my system and think we're going to gel well together. No. What we going to do is we're going to work to understanding that you have to put me in, play with these people. I've got to sit down and talk with them. I got to understand them man to man, what kind of man they are, what kind of feeling I get from them. You know, whether they really want to work with me or they just want to do their own thing and just get numbers and get big contracts or whatever. For you not to involve me, we live in a culture now. You got to remember that everything is about change. So what happened with Brett Favre is not saying true for Aaron Rodgers. If they're not changing the way they're looking at things and they're evolving and they're moving forward, they're not becoming a better team, period. For right now, for the present or the future. They've got to keep him in the loop. You know, the NBA has shown that players can take on their careers now. They don't have to leave it up to the GM to just put them anywhere they want to be, put them with any kind of players they want to play with. No. We want to win. We want to win now. It's cool to be one of the greatest players of all time, but it's even cooler to win championships. That's even better. That guarantees you the Hall of Fame. Period. Especially when you get more than one championship. Oh, shucks now. Say what you want about Eli Manning. He's a guaranteed Hall of Famer, baby. Guaranteed. So, it's very disrespectful.
Who had no say in personnel decisions. Just saying.
Say it again?
Eli had no say in personnel decisions.
Yeah, and that's why they treated Eli the way they did. That's just, you know.
And also, Eli is way more durable than Aaron Rodgers. Say what you want about Aaron Rodgers. But you can't be a bad man if you're injured. You have to listen. Facts. It's facts. You know it's facts, Matt. You know it's facts.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers can't finish the season. He's not durable.
But though that's the case, but you have to look at those are two different franchises. Two different franchises. Now I did pressure myself earlier by saying that the New York Football Giants is basically the Mets of the NFL, not the Mets, the Yankees of the NFL. They are one of the most classiest football organizations in the league. Okay, bottom line. So of course they're going to the way they do business is their way to do their business. Okay. For the Packers, that's a whole different story. Now, remind you, they have no owner. The owner is the people. The people are the owners. Yeah, they're the only team in sports who are publicly traded on the stock exchange. So, yeah, they're owned by the people, number one. Number two, as far as how things roll in Green Bay, the fact is there are teams, and historically, they have asked, like, I'll go for example. John Elway. The Broncos asked John Elway about I think it was Sterling Sharp. Sterling Sharp or TD, one of the two. They asked about it before they draft him. So sometimes player say does make a big difference. Even with Terrell Owens and Donovan McNabb, same thing. Only there was a recruiting thing going on there. So come on, players talk, bro. Players talk, but to go ahead and strip your receiver of something as valuable as, or not as valuable as Jordy Nelson, it's this is wrong.
No, look, man, and I agree with you. I agree that yes, he should have some say. But my point is this: this is going to be my point. My point is that I understand he's Aaron Rodgers. He's the bad man that he is. He's one of the best quarterbacks, but he's not durable. My thing is this, right? I think that I agree with you that they shouldn't have gotten rid of Jordy Nelson. I don't think you probably weren't here, or I don't know if we ever talked about it on this podcast when they released it. Now I thought that was wrong. I thought they did Aaron Rodgers wrong by getting rid of his favorite target and only leaving him with Randall Cobb and what did I just say? And Jimmy as his tight end. I really do think they gave him wrong. They only gave him two weapons. I agree with you. They straight up did him wrong. But when you're as injured, listen, this is what I'll say about that. He's a great quarterback, but he's not durable. And I don't think, and I'm not saying that you got to be a healthy quarterback to get some say, but you got to at least, be able to make it through a couple seasons before you get injured. And I think he's been injured, at least the last couple of seasons. But I do agree, maybe he should have a little say. I do think they did it wrong, but I think you got to be healthy to have some say in your franchise. That's what I'm going to say. And moving right along, we're going to save the baseball stuff for a little bit while. We're going to wrap up this basketball stuff, and then we'll end with our Phillies and Matt's baseball diamond. All right, y'all. So, are we experiencing the most unpredictable, or if you're Stephen A. Smith to word it another way, because I know Matt's probably all like unpredictable. Steve's probably coming out of his ears. So I'll word the question differently. Are we finally experiencing some parity in the NBA playoffs? Is that word that Matt knows I hate? Parity in the NBA. Is this the first playoff season of parity in the NBA? Matt knows I hate that word. Go ahead, Matt. Matt, you there?
Oh, I'm sorry. I have to laugh. I have to laugh my ass off. Look, all right. Center. I was talking to one of my friends with the high school on Facebook, and one of his thing was to shrink the league down to 20 to make it more competitive. I looked at him in that post like as if he done lost his last damn brain cell, because that's not how the business of the National Basketball Association works. So, but underlining of it all is the fact of parity. People want parity. Yes, Conley hates the word parity, but you can kick rocks as far as I can. There's parity in the NFL. There's parity in the MLB. I'm not sure about hockey, but there's parity everywhere, and the NBA is starting to catch up for once. Now, with parity, you're going to see some very good basketball. Bottom line, and it's particularly in the Eastern Conference, every game, literally, you don't know what's going to happen. You may think you could possibly see Cleveland might get knocked out. You're seeing good basketball all around, and parity is not a bad thing. It's a great thing. It's a great moneymaker, believe it or not. It's good for business. It's good for the fans. It's good for everybody. Why? Because you get to see competitive basketball at its finest, competitive basketball at its greatest. That's what you're seeing right now. And every team has a chance to literally win to get to the next round and hopefully win it for their team. Parity is a great thing. It's a wonderful thing. It's a blessing to have parity. So to see teams literally just go for broke, it's a great and wonderful thing. So I understand that Mr. Watson here is not a fan of it, but you have to think about it. It's good for business. It's awesome for business. So in a sense, now I'm one of those fans like, you know what, the NBA playoffs has been boring for the last number of years because we it's been predictable. In fact, last season it was more the fact of, you know what, we all know we're going to see the same two teams in the finals. We know it because it is what it is. It's like if you ever play 2K, you just like, you know what, skip regular season, go straight to the postseason because you know what's going to happen. Now we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if Golden State's going to go back to defend the title. We don't know if even Houston. We don't even know if Houston, of all teams, may make it to the finals. We don't know that because you have to think about this. In the last part of the season, in the Western Conference, teams 4 through 10 had a chance to get to the playoffs. 4 through 10, all the way down to the last game of the season. So that in itself was riveting in of itself. Now I'm gonna take a page out of baseball. I am not for the wild card game. I'm not for it, but I understand baseball's logic for it because and I'll get to that in a minute as far as where the Phillies are. But this is great for basketball. Even for me, I'm like, you know what? I gotta check out what's going on. I mean, he's taking me away from baseball. I appreciate that. Take me away from the game that I love to make sure, you know what? I gotta pay attention because I don't want to miss anything. I don't want to miss any storylines versus the last number of seasons where it was just flat out predictable. Predictable. I don't have to predict anymore because this is great basketball. This is entertaining. This is great. You don't know what's going to happen. And that's the beauty of playoff basketball.
Matt, I'm sorry, I'm jumping the line. Matt knows that I don't like the word parody. Matt knows I don't believe in the word parody because you can't be saying that everything's parody when your champions end up being the same champions every year. Everybody loves to use this argument of, oh my goodness, there's parody in, and the two most common sports they talk about there's parody in is college football. They'll either use the NFL, which by the way, I just want to let y'all know that has had the same team in the Super Bowl for the last 4 years. It's all the Patriots. The winners might be different, but it's always been the Patriots.
But you have to think about this. Again, the New England Patriots is a machine. You have to beat the machine. That's who they are. Other than the machine that is the New England / Boston Patriots, you have 31 other NFL teams that could have a chance. That's why you have the collective bargaining agreement that is right now. You have free agency the way it is. Drafting is important. So you have a chance in the NFL. You have a chance. You could be in the cellar 1 minute like the
Browns.
Not
in the AFC, Matt. Not in the AFC. You have a chance in the NFC, not in the AFC.
In some divisions.
You have a chance in the NFC, not in the AFC. Now in the NFC, it's been a different person in the Super Bowl every year. Now, granted, that doesn't bode well for my Eagles repeat prediction later on when we get there. But in the AFC, you really don't have a chance as long as the Patriots stay together. Let's be real.
Look, again, if you're in the AFC, you know Denver, Pittsburgh, Baltimore. They know they have to face this team. Everybody in the AFC knows they have to face the Patriots at one point or at some point. And the goal is simply this: you have to beat the machine. Do not take the page out of the Jacksonville Jaguars playbook. Get ahead and be conservative. No, take a page out of the Eagles playbook. Play the way that you got there. Play in the simple. Don't deviate to the left. Don't deviate to the right. Play the way that you got there. And that's how the Eagles beat the Patriots. But off on the NFL side, on the NBA side of things, The fact of the matter is simply this: you're seeing good basketball. I know you hate that word parity, equal, or the teams are equal. And even me and Dre got into a little tit for tat about the fact of the equality of teams in the NBA. And I said this. Even think about this: teams from basically, I said 5 to 8. I said 4 to 8. Those are evenly matched teams. Evenly matched. You don't know what you're going to get. So basically, particularly in the East, you're getting good basketball. And on top of that, the Eastern Conference, everybody's bitching and complaining about how bad the conference is. But if you take a look, that conference is loaded. Loaded with
Hold
talent.
on. Let me stop you there. The only people complaining were the Stephen A. Smiths of the world, the people that are paid to know basketball but don't know nothing about basketball. Let's be real. None of the regular people. Listen, we've talked about this on the podcast, and I know you've agreed with me because I've said that basketball is cyclical. You know, it used to be a time where the East was the old established veterans and the West was the young guns. Now it's turned around. The West has the old established veterans, and the East is nothing but young guns outside of LeBron James. You know this. You know I've talked about this. Let's be real. Let's be honest. The people that were complaining about the East sucking were the people that are paid to talk about basketball.
And also people who wants competition, people who are just purists, and those, and honestly, to be honest with you, basketball purists I want to punch in the face. And also those who wants, again, parity, who wants, unpredictability. Look, the NBA right now, the way we look at it right now, is in transition mode. And I have to agree with you. At one point, the East was the power conference when we were growing up. We will admit to this. Right now, the power conference is the West. However, given the climate that is the NBA playoffs today, right now, day after 420, day after weekday, that's 421. The way we're looking at this right now, this is some good basketball, and you must agree to this. There is, yes, right now there is parity in the East. You must agree to this.
No, I agree that this is great basketball. I will never say, as somebody who loves, this is what I'll say about that. These last couple of years of playoff basketball is really testing your love of basketball. If you're basketball is your number one sport, you love basketball more than you love football. These last couple of seasons of NBA playoff basketball, even though they have been somewhat predictable, I will agree with that. It still was great basketball. Listen, the stuff may have been blowouts. It may have been a couple blowouts in the NBA playoffs the last couple of years, but it's been good basketball. Now this is a time because basketball's got a little bit unpredictable. Some people are seeing, and the most notable upset, everything to me is chalk this year, but the most notable upset and the most notable thing that people are saying is unpredictable is, the fact that the Pelicans are up 3-0 against the Trailblazers. Notable playoff no-shows, the Portland Trailblazers. And I will agree, the Pelicans, that's a surprise. Even though I picked the Pelicans, I think in about 6 or 7 games. I didn't think that it would be a sweep in that series. But that's the one that y'all can point to and say it's unpredictable. Everything else has been very chalky. The Raptors are destroying the Wizards except for last night. The one that's a surprise to me, not really a surprise because I watched the Pacers, are that the Pacers are, going tit for tat. But this is the weakest Cavaliers team ever. So, and they'll probably get eliminated. I've said I picked the Pacers in 7 last week. So they'll probably get eliminated, the Cleveland Cavaliers. And I know Andre disagrees with that. But just to say this, yes, this is competitive basketball. Competitive basketball is back again. I'm happy about that. But I don't think it's parity, mostly because I really do think it's going to be a power team in the conference, whether that be a power team in the East between the Sixers, the Celtics, and the Raptors. One of them will end up in the finals. And in the West, it'll either be the Rockets or the Warriors. Like, I don't think anybody, if the Pelicans make it, are going to pick the Pelicans to beat the Warriors. I don't really think anybody on this podcast is going to pick that. I don't think so. I don't think anybody's going to pick the next team to beat the Rockets later. I don't think anybody's going to pick that. I don't know though. But like I said, it's very unpredictable. I'll give you that. But I don't think there's parity. Just like I don't believe people when they say there's parity in college football and college basketball. Even though Alabama always wins the championship in college football, and there's always a Power 5 team in the college basketball tournament winning that tournament. Like wasn't unpredictable this year. Villanova won the title. Did anybody not have that in their bracket? You know what I mean? Like, okay, it's parity. It's parity in the first couple of rounds. It's parity in the championship game. But ultimately, when it comes down to it, it's the Alabamas, the Villanovas, the Houston Rockets, the Golden State Warriors, the Raptors, the Celtics, or the Sixers of the world that wind up with the title. It won't be the Pelicans. Let's be real. Go ahead, Andre. Andre, you there? Wonder where he went.
Of all the people that need to talk about this issue, he went MIA.
Sorry about that. My fault, Calvin. I was doing something.
Go ahead. Are we experiencing an unpredictable NBA playoff or parity in the NBA? Go ahead.
Explain that question just a little bit more, Calvin. Like, what do you
so would you? So a lot of people are saying this is an unpredictable NBA playoffs because you've got the Pelicans beating the Trailblazers. The Cavaliers have a chance to be eliminated. Do you think we're experiencing parity / unpredictability in the NBA playoffs? Go ahead.
Yes, we are experiencing parity. We are experiencing. I don't know if it's unpredictable though, because LeBron James is playing. I said it before, Kevin Love is on the squad, but he hasn't shown up. Like, I don't know what he expects after this contract is up. I don't know what he expects money wise, but he's not going to get what he used to get. And he's probably not going to get superstar level. He's probably going to get a decent amount of money, but it's not going to be great. So that's the reason for LeBron's team doing what they're doing. Like, a lot of players aren't showing up, like J.R. Smith, Tristan Thompson. He needs to get his head out of Chloe ass and stop cheating. Stay focused more. If he stay on basketball, he'd probably be all right. But he focused on all these other things, which most coaches wouldn't allow. I mean, you got a personal life, but stop letting it hit the damn media. Keep your stuff private. You never hear about LeBron's escapades. I don't know. And we know everybody has dirt, but obviously he must be doing it under the radar. So that's the reason for the Cavaliers' gripe. Other teams in the East, they are what they are. The Wizards have always been that team. They could get to the playoffs, but John Wall can't push them to that next level. Bradley Beal can't push them to that next level. They don't have the players to push them to the next level. They don't have the coach to push them to the next level. So they've been a good team, not a great team. Good, for the time being. That's all they are. They're good for the time being. Toronto keeps hitting the ceiling. They just can't get past it. They go deep into the Eastern. They get to the Eastern Conference Finals. That's it. I don't know what it is, but they can't get past. And I will ultimately say that they aren't winners. So with the East, teams are what they are. With the West, it's always been so hard just to get out. So that's why it's and the Rockets have finally played up to their potential. That's what the Rockets have done. For so long.
So you're telling me.
I'm telling you.
There is no balance on either side, because you're telling me the East are who they are. Of course, the West is the West. They're going to be hard to get out no matter who you are, but you're telling me that the East are who they are from 4 down.
Yeah, I already talked about the Sixers, so I don't even know why we That's what I think you're.
I said
alluding to.
4 down. I said 3 down. I said 4 down. That's including Indiana. You tell Indiana in Cleveland.
Who the
said
hell are the
4
Indiana
down.
Pacers? Victor Oladipo? Really? Is that? I mean, you supposed to impress me with that guy? Is that what you talking about?
I'm just saying from a general sense. I know this moderator over on the side here don't like the word parody, but the fact you have to admit the fact that you are watching pretty damn good basketball on all 8 series. You have to admit this.
Yeah, I agree with that. That you're seeing basketball that you would have not thought was going to happen. I did not think the Pelicans would play like they're playing right now. I really didn't.
Nobody did.
But I'm excited to see it, man, and I want to see more of it. Not just from the Pelicans, but from other teams. And the Blazers are a huge disappointment. I don't know what the hell is going on with Damian Lillard and the players around him. You know, the Spurs, they got an issue with Kawhi Leonard. So I don't know if it's Greg Popovich that has the issue with, or if it's just their team. Well, it's got to be. Listen, if it's the team, it's Greg Popovich. So clearly he has an issue with Greg Popovich. So this is another thing. I never think you should be in any position. Head coach, assistant coach, the damn trainer, forever. You've got to get new blood in there, new ideas, new ways of doing stuff. Keeping somebody in a position forever is detrimental to the whole organization. I don't care if it's a damn clubhouse. Somebody else needs to be in charge of the clubhouse. You just can't keep. We can't keep people in positions and they die in them because they only have their limits to their way of thinking. We need new ideas. We need new way of doing things. We need to constantly change. Change is the only thing that's constant. Everything else is everything else.
But you're telling me, look, you have to remember, so for some organizations and franchises, it works. It's been working for so long. Why? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Name one NBA organization that's doing well with one person in one position forever.
One position, other than Greg Popovich, minus this year, mind you, because it's been a dumpster fire in San Antonio. Okay, the last 2 years actually. Minus that, that's all. Like there is nobody at this point. There hasn't been really nobody that says, you know what, this person has been here for X amount of years and it's worked. It doesn't work for everybody. Not everybody, but with the exception of San Antonio.
All right, Chuck. All right, back to your corners. We got 3 more questions to get to. It's 3 o'clock, and the Sixers are in the second quarter, and it's a tie game. So let's go. Let's get through this. All right, y'all. Steph Curry.
Let's go Sixers! Let's go Sixers!
Steph Curry is returning to practice this weekend or this week, whatever, however you count it. So will this return propel the Warriors to another finals appearance? I'll start. Let me say this. I don't know if it'll put them closer to the finals. I know in my mind, it makes the Warriors a more complete team. And a complete Warriors team, if Steph Curry can do everything he's supposed to do, will allow the Warriors to be a lot closer in the to a finals appearance than they are right now with just Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green. If all of them are back together and Steph Curry's healthy and he can do his thing, then I think they can get to the finals. I mean, the last time they had a half-healthy Steph Curry, they got to the finals. They wound up losing that finals, but they got there. So, I think that puts them a lot closer to the finals than they are right now. I think that if Steph Curry's healthy and he can do what he needs to do, he can move around, he can make them Steph Curry jump shots, he can do with that offense and defense, what they need him to do offensively and defensively to make it to the finals, then yeah, they can make it to the finals. Now, they might not win because Steph Curry isn't completely healthy, but they can make it to the finals. I mean, last time he wasn't healthy, they made it to the finals. And like I said, I have to see the Rockets in a game that matters. When it takes them when they're 5, 6, or 7 games away from going to the finals and games that really matter to see if James Harden and Chris Paul can actually lead them to a finals, and then Mike D'Antoni can coach his butt off to a finals, because so far that hasn't happened. So I'll see in the Western Conference Finals in a couple of weeks if the Rockets, if all those factors ring true, and the Rockets and D'Antoni can coach himself to a finals appearance, because so far he hasn't been able to do it. But yeah, a completely or semi-healthy Steph Curry puts the Warriors a lot closer to the finals than they are right now. Go ahead, Matt.
It puts them closer. It does put them closer. However, what I had a term for it too. Their team, if you're facing them, you should be concerned. That's where the Warriors are. I mean, yeah, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, and the like. Yeah, you should be worried. But now you have Steph Curry coming back. You should be definitely worried. But it does not negate the fact that Houston and Golden State got me. If that happens, and it probably would happen, they meet, it's going 7. But, like you said, this is a different. Steph Curry is not 100%, so it'll depend on what Steve Kerr does with this team moving forward. So if I'm the opposition, I would be deathly afraid or deathly concerned of the fact that, this possibly could be bad very quickly. If and I mean if they don't take care of business pertaining to Steph Curry and the rest of the Warrior basketball club.
Andre.
I won't be afraid to say, because Matt always dances around the damn questions. He gets on my damn nerves with it. That Stephen Curry will not propel the Warriors this year to get to the championship. The Rockets, this is their year. They are not being stopped by the damn Warriors again. They are.
Oh, let me hold on. Let me stop you there. I can dance around the question. I made it clear the fact that it'll be a problem. It will propel them.
If they do this, if they do that, if
things have to fall in place. But overall, it's not gonna put them in the better. It's on the overall better position because
stand on your nuts, man. Stand on your nuts. Talk from your nuts. All right. Make an obvious choice, whether it may be wrong or right, and just stand with it, man. Come on,
dude. Look, I've said this on this podcast time and time again that the Rockets, they're due. The Rockets are due. James Harden is playing off on top of his head right now, and as far as Chris Paul and like. So you would be a fool to sit here and say, well, the Warriors are a better team. I don't think so. You can ask Steph Curry all you want. But the reason I said the way they said because, remember, the playoffs is a whole different animal. It's a whole different animal. That's why I said the way I said it. But you have to remember, look, we still got to give the Rockets their due. And don't forget, Golden State is still the champs right now. So still, Golden State is still the team to beat. Or are they not?
I don't care nothing about that. And listen. And Colin can tell you firsthand, since this podcast has been on today, since I've been on this podcast, I've always said the playoffs are a different animal. So don't tell me what the whole team did in the regular season. I want to see what they produce. That's why I'm not hype about the Sixers doing all they did in the regular season. I mean, good, great. And I'm like, listen, does it get me excited? Yes, it does. But do I come back to reality? Hell yeah. Because I've seen time and time again, teams play awesome in the regular season and get their ass busted in the playoffs. Because they think they're going to walk in and the team gonna lay down. It don't work that way. You got to show me what you did in the regular season times 10. Everybody got to play, including your star players. If they're a star player, I need to see them averaging double doubles, triple doubles. I need to see them signing babies. I need to them do everything. So it's not going to happen for the Warriors this year, and rightfully so. They shouldn't win every damn year, just like the Patriots shouldn't win every year. I don't care how many people win your squad. Injury is bound to happen when you play season to season. You play season after season, deep into playoffs, deep into the finals. It's so much, man. You're only human, man.
Man, it's so funny, man. You talk about the stuff is a different beast, but yet, name me the last meaningful game that James Harden and Chris Paul and Mike D'Antoni have been in. Meaningful playoff game where there was a championship or close to a championship on the line. Name it.
I'll give it D'Antoni in the NBA Finals with the Suns.
And I say with the Rockets, the last time they was in the playoffs, when James Harden disappeared, what was it, game 4? Or something like that, or game 5 when he disappeared?
So that tells you all you need to know. James Harden isn't really having a good playoff so far. I mean, for real, I would argue that they're winning in spite of James Harden because James Harden hasn't shown up yet in these playoffs. And just based on that, you know, the people, if you're telling me that, like, you're telling me, okay, the Rockets are up 3-0 right now, or whatever it is, on the Timberwolves, I'm about to say the Vikings, on the Timberwolves, and James Harden hasn't shown up yet in the playoffs, and you're telling me that when they have to face the Warriors in the Western Conference Finals,
Western
Conference Finals,
they have to beat Steph Curry and them in 7 games, however many games it takes, and there may be a couple of games. Because this is what happened to OKC, right? This is what OKC proved. They were a game away or whatever from beating the Warriors. They were up. They choked under pressure. Like, the one thing I can say about the Warriors is when the pressure turns up, they turn up. Rockets? Nah, they're not there yet. Mike D'Antoni don't know how to coach them teams. Chris Paul doesn't get past the second.
But they were also flawed fundamentally. The OKC with that whole Westbrook shooting all those damn shots. That was never going to work win the championship wise. He wasn't making anybody better around him. He was a great player, but he was not making his teammates a better player.
Okay, and the one thing we can say about the Rockets is they're a great home team, but if they're not up, and if they have to go into Oracle or any other stadium where there's a loud stadium and the pressure's on, they don't show up. James Harden didn't show up. Chris Paul doesn't show up. You telling me you're going to rely on Chris Paul, James Harden, Clint Capella, who's coming off the bench for them? You're relying on those 3, James Anderson and somebody else to close out the Warriors? I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I'm not
drinking that juice.
I'm not a Warriors fan, but even I don't believe that Anderson, like Clint Capella, Anderson, who's the guy that Gordon coming off the bench, and a couple of other players can close out the Warriors when it matters. I just, and because I don't think Mike D'Antoni is that good of a coach that he'll be able to do that. Just keeping it honest. Like, he hasn't proven that he can do that yet, and I don't think he will be able to. So that's just me, though. I've yet to be proven wrong, but I'm going to say that's definitely going 7, and I think the Warriors will win that in 7 because, like I said, this is where we go. Like, just like I told Matt for the previous question, it goes from unpredictable to predictable real quick. Because, like I said, if it becomes Warriors, Pelicans, Rockets and Jazz, or Rockets and Thunder, who you picking? I bet none of y'all are going to pick the Thunder or the Pelicans to be in the Western Conference Finals.
I damn sure ain't gonna pick the Thunder with Carmelo on them. I think Carmelo, he destroys teams. I don't think he helps them.
It
And the
gets
same thing about Russell Westbrook.
real predictable real quick. All right, but we're gonna wrap this. We gonna go. All right, that was great. We're gonna go to Matt's baseball thing, and then we're gonna talk about the Phillies. Then we out of here. Go ahead, Matt.
Please read the message.
Oh, okay, I see it. All right. Go ahead, Matt. Talk about the Phillies beating expectations. Go ahead.
Look,
Please
I
read the
sat here.
message.
now, I sat here and I thought, well, this Phillies team is gonna make 80 games, 85 games. Before, let me preface myself by saying this: you cannot win a championship in the month of April. You just don't. That's number one. Two, this look, they're exterior they're at a little above expectation, but they're not exceeding way past it. But they're at or above my expectations at this point. I will admit to this: Scott Kingery is the man right now. I mean, for a rookie, he's been playing everywhere on the field. It's like that, pretty much the 10th, 11th. He's like the 10th, 11th man on the Phillies right now. Honestly, in the way that Gabe Kapler's using is rearranging the lineup, giving Michael Franco a rest, giving J.P. Crawford, Cesar Hernandez a rest from here and there, and then rotating the outfield and everything else. Yo, you're sorry. I think we're seeing this is a better offensive ball club. To be honest with you, this team is more fun to watch. It's not even, it's beyond bearable. It's like you don't know what's going to happen night in, night out. You don't know what's going to happen, and finally, we're starting to see how he's letting the starters go deep in the game. Well, although it's April, Jake Arrieta, he's still trying to, get into his form, but look at this last start. He struck out 10 on Thursday night. He struck out 10. Aaron, look, I'm telling you this right now. This team is fun to watch, and also, believe it or not, this team is second behind, believe it or not, with the New York Mets. Literally, the Mets are out in front right now, but the Phillies are like second in the division. But I know Colin don't like this word parity, but I'm gonna say it anyway. They are in the number one wild card spot right now, although this is April. Yes, it's April. But April and May is where you want to get a good start. You want to get a good start. And that's what the Phillies are doing right now. Is getting a good start, getting of the season at this point. But they're pretty much meeting, if not exceeding, above expectations at this point. It's the grind that we have to look at. We're talking about June, July, August. That grind of the season. So that's where, if the Phillies we're seeing now, it's the Phillies we're seeing. Will be the Phillies that we see in those dog days in summer, or is this get high early and then just fizzle out? I've seen this before. We have seen this before.
Andre, you got anything to add to that? I don't have nothing. Go ahead.
Yeah, I gotta say, the Phillies, we definitely didn't think that they would be where they are right now in the standings. We didn't think they would blow out a team by 21 runs. Like, that was impressive. But what wasn't impressive was the very next game they lost. So what the hell? Like, as soon as they did that, Huh? What you say, Matt?
In baseball, that happens.
It does happen, but we still. I don't care if it is just baseball. You know, it's part of the culture. You always expect teams to do well after they score 21 runs. You don't expect them to lose the very next game, or you at least expect it to be a really tight game. Like you would think that would propel them to being, you know, a potentially good team. You know, they're playing good right now, but I don't know if I could go so far out to say they're a good team. You know, they're number two in the NL East. You know, they got 12 wins and 7 losses. You know, it's okay. You know, we're glad to see him winning because we see him losing for so long. You know, it's like feels like forever since we won that championship. You know, we want to see that again, especially the Eagles just won, man. Like like Calvin said in the opening, I still can't believe it. Like, yo, man, the Eagles won. When the Eagles win, your expectations are that much more higher as a Philadelphia fan, especially when you root for all teams in Philadelphia. So, you know, pressure on other teams. Get it done. I don't care what you got to do, how hard it is. Get it done.
I gotta say that there is no pressure, believe it or not. There really is. It's a 162 game grind. We just get through 1 month of the season. Only 1 month. And look, believe it, you have to agree that this team has been better looking than we've seen in the past number of years since the days of Charlie Manuel. You have
Yeah,
to admit this.
I agree, but I wouldn't go too far as to say they're exceeding expectations. I would say they're good for right now. They aren't the Boston Red Sox who are on an 8 game win streak. They're on a 2 game win streak, which is cool. Which is
But the
cool.
thing,
The
I ain't worried
Houston
about the
Astros on a
American
4 game win streak.
I ain't worried about the American League right now. Although
No,
we
but
play,
Matt, we comparing all teams. Because if we saying exceeding expectations, we got to compare them to everyone, not just the NL East.
I agree. I agree with you. We have seen this before, a la Cleveland. Get it, Cleveland. The Cleveland Indians at one point got hot, and then when by the time June rolled around, it became fool's gold. That's where my concern is. April and May, you want to start like this. You expect to start like this. You know, now, I'm sorry, April, May.
But
In
you
the
know, it's
late
funny.
May,
That was my point about the Sixers. Got hot. Might be fool's gold.
now let me think. Let me take you back to 2008 when the Phillies got on a roll and really turned it on, going into the playoffs. They not look. I
Uh-huh.
even what turned around was that Brewers the NLCS against the Brewers. That's what really turned it on. Because remember, before the playoffs, before the postseason, the Phillies were rolling. They were rolling. By the time they
Yeah.
got by the time we got the NLDS in Milwaukee, that's when you're like, oh sugar, this is no joke.
But why,
Now
Matt, why were we rolling? Was it because our offense? Was it because our defense? Or was it a combination of both?
it was a combination of a lot of things. They hit timely hitting, timely pitching. Everything was working the way it was supposed to work.
It was a well-oiled machine. I hear you.
But as far as the cap is concerned, right now, because look, we sat through Pete Buchanan, we sat through 1 year of Ryan Sandberg. Look how that turned out. The point is, and for the last number of years, it's been situational hitting. It was terrible. Hitting with runners in scoring position, leaving runners on base, and just bad pitching decisions. The fact is, if you, look, just like the Sixers, the Phillies were doing the same thing because we sold the farm to get the World Series title. That's what happened. Now we are right now we are reaping the benefits of retooling the farm system. Yeah, now I got J.P. Crawford here. Reese Hoskins is hitting off the chain right now. He's like, I think top 3, if not leading the National League in on base percentage. Cesar Hernandez is like one of the best leadoff hitters in baseball right now. So basically, this team is kicking ass and taking names. And the fact that this Philly signed Scott Kingery, to a deal, and literally turn their heads in baseball. I'm like, oh, rookie of the year.
But is that producing wins though?
Oh, hell
we don't have the best record in the league now. We only had the best record in our division.
But remember, this is a 162 game grind.
I hear you. I'm not talking about 162. I'm talking about right now though. What does stats say? Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. That's all I'm saying.
All right. Phillies right now one of the best hitting teams in baseball right now. One of the best hitting teams in baseball right now. What's it? I can't think of that. If you notice, Michael Franco is hitting a lot better. And if you look at the way he was hitting last year compared to this year, his situation with hitting is better. All because he made an adjustment. One small adjustment. If you notice, he actually drops his hands more to get to the zones faster because he has a long swing. But by dropping his hands and going to the zone a lot faster, he's one of the National League leaders in runs batted in right now. All because of situational hitting. This team has gotten better in that area. And that's compared to the last 2-3 seasons where we didn't see that. So offensively, it's like, dude, count him like get on his ass, watch some baseball because this team is fun to watch. I'm just saying.
And I don't disagree. They are fun to watch. Let's go Phillies. They play today. Make sure y'all tune in. Let's get a win today, Phillies. I want Sixers and Phillies to win today. Let's go.
All right, y'all. Scoring update on the Sixers. They're down by 5.
Hush your face!
4 minutes left. We're going to win, though. Matt, what are you talking about? I'm rooting for the Sixers. Andre can tell you since the beginning of this podcast. I said Sixers in 5.
He did. Shut up, Matt. Stay in your place. Stay down south.
I need them to win this game. So, anyway, we want to thank y'all for tuning in later. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the support. Like I said, we 80 episodes in. We want to thank y'all. Enjoy this weather. Enjoy this nice
big 8 out.
Enjoy this nice spring weather. Signing off from Titles Town, USA. Dr. Dre at Small Red Horn at Kyla W. Watson. We out of here. Good weekend. Deuces.